So we started our trip out the first day that we got there. We went to a Broadway show to see Death Becomes Her. Highly recommended. It was absolutely hilarious. This is a picture of us right after the show. Definitely a 10 out of 10 for me. And then the next day was our first full day. So we took the ferry over to the Statue of Liberty. It was a gorgeous day for that, a little windy, but it was actually surprisingly warmer than we thought it was going to be. Beautiful views of the skyline as well as the Statue of Liberty while we were on the way over to it. So the video footage I'm getting here was with my new Insta360 camera. Funny story with that, we were walking around getting ready to go because we were going to do the crown, climb the steps up to the crown of the Statue of Liberty. Got through all the security checkpoints, everything was fine, and I had it was like a 6-foot selfie stick with the camera to get some footage of the Statue of Liberty. Well, security come running. They were like, "How did you get through security with this? It's not allowed. You can't have it. You've got to leave it here." So sadly, I did not get to take the 360 camera up into the crown, which I was really hoping to do, but they at least let me go on in. They just held the camera while we were doing that. So here's some of the footage I got climbing up to the crown. I will say, if you've never done it before, I highly recommend it. It's not near as intimidating as I thought it was going to be. However, it is very, very warm when you were climbing up those steps. We were all burning up by the time that we got up there and got back down. Once we got done with the Statue of Liberty, we went ahead and went over to Chinatown just to kind of walk around, check things out, and we had lunch while we were there, which was absolutely delicious. Just kind of check out the little shops and walk around just to kill a little bit of time. And a couple of people in the group had never been. So this right here was the view out our room. It had little balcony doors that opened up. There wasn't a balcony to step out on, but you could open the doors. And we had a great view of the 9/11 Memorial and then the One World Trade Center. So on our first night, once it got dark, we walked down to the New York Stock Exchange. This is their tree, and to me, it's not as big as the Rockefeller tree, but there are no people there, no crowds whatsoever. And they light the building up as well. It was blue and white initially, and then it switched over to red and green. But I just feel like that this one is a must-see because you can literally, as you can see, walk right up under the tree. There's nobody there. It's a completely different vibe than the Rockefeller tree. Of course, here, a trip to New York during Christmas just would be incomplete without seeing the Macy's windows. Going through Holiday Lane. And then this here is actually, it's called Santa Land. You have to reserve tickets to walk through this, but it was the cutest. It was so festive. There were trees and decorations and just, there was stuff everywhere, little elves to greet you. They took pictures, several pictures along the way. You got a picture with Mrs. Claus and then a picture with Santa. I will say on this, I think that the tickets open up at like 6:30 in the morning. You have to log on. I mean, you have to be on that because they go very quickly, and they will only let you do like 5 in a group. So if you've got a larger group like we had, unfortunately, we only could do 5 of us to go through it. But absolutely worth it. It's free. You just gotta, kind of be proactive with logging on and getting those tickets reserved. This is another area that I definitely recommend checking out. It's just a little park, kind of just right in the middle of everything. But these trees, they had lights. It seemed like it was on every single branch of these trees. It was so cute. It would just give off this perfect little holiday vibe, just, right in the middle of nothing. You're just walking around and all of a sudden you stumble upon this. But as you can see, I would hate to even think how many lights are on those trees in that area. But it's definitely something to, walk through, get some pictures, just to check it out. This right here was a model train set. I cannot remember where this was at because we've seen so many things and we were on the go. But it was so detailed, and it has all of like the prominent buildings in New York City. It had the Met Building, Chrysler, Empire State Building, Grand Central. The detail in this was just, it was so amazing. And it's something free. You just walk in, walk around, take it all in, take your time, but I definitely recommend it. On our second day, we decided to do some ice skating. We went to Bryant Park because Rockefeller, for one, is so expensive. It's 2.5 times the price to do it at Bryant Park. Plus, there's more room because Rockefeller is it's small. There's so many people. This, you just had so much more room. You got to see the public library building. You know, there was a lot to see. And of course, there's a Christmas tree there and then the little Christmas market. So I would definitely recommend it if you're wanting to save a little bit of money and also have a little more room in case you're not the best ice skater, kind of like we weren't. Then after we did that, we hopped on the subway and went over to the Roosevelt tram station, and we rode the tram over to Roosevelt Island. This is included with your Metro card, so it's not any extra if you do like the unlimited rides. And it just gives you a nice view of the skyline. And we went over to Roosevelt Island, had some lunch over there, grabbed a drink, just to kill a little bit of time. And of course, you get a great view of the bridge going across here as well, which I just thought was really cool. And it's only just a couple minute ride. After we got done with the tram ride, we went over back to Bryant Park area, went into the public library to see their tree, which was absolutely amazing. And they had, I would say, hundreds, if not thousands, of huge pine cones under this tree, almost kind of like making a tree skirt out of the pine cones. And we just kind of walked around right in the entrance. It's free to get in, just to take in the tree. You know, some of the architecture of the building right here when you first walk in the windows. And then from there, we went over to Grand Central, just kind of walked around, took it all in for a little bit, took a little break, just to rest up before we headed back out into the cold. The next thing that we did, we had reservations for the sunset at Summit 1 Vanderbilt, the observation. This was the elevator going up. We have done, let's see, Top of the Rock, the Edge, the Empire State Building, and this one. And I have to say, this one is the most unique experience to me. You've got gorgeous views, a beautiful view of the Empire State Building. And at sunset, just really, it just set it off. We wanted to do that because we wanted to see the city in the daytime, catch the sunset, but also see it once it got dark. And then they have like these experiences. So you go around this room and everybody's just knocking these balls around. Do be careful. You will get knocked in the head or smacked in the face with one. But it's totally worth it. I will say the only thing about this that I have to complain about is leaving the building. We waited probably an hour and 15 minutes or longer in line just to get on the elevators to go back down to get out of the building. So that, I won't say that it ruined the trip to the summit, but it definitely was something that we were not a fan of. I mean, it was busy, obviously. Sunset is their busiest time, but I would highly recommend it. I mean, it's New York City at Christmas. Everything's busy. But to be able to go and see the sunset and then slowly see all the city lights come on, it definitely was something worth seeing. Just be prepared to wait for what seems like an eternity to get on the elevator to get out of the building. They also, on the highest floor that you go up to before you go out onto this outside observation area, they do have like a little lounge. There's a bar, they've got some snacks, a few tables, and then they do have some seating. We didn't really get a seat because it was so busy, but they do have them there if you wanted to stand around, and just kind of watch for someone to get up. But I thought that was neat that they did have that up there. Just give you time to just sit down, grab a drink, grab a snack, take in the views, spend as long as you want there. And then they also have the elevator that's on the side of the building that you can ride up. I think it's another 10 stories. You have to pay extra for that. Of course, it's not included. My brother-in-law did it. He said that it was, pretty neat. I don't know that it was necessarily worth the extra charge because it is a pretty quick thing. But, if you've got the extra time and the money, I'd say go for it. This is also kind of one of those must-see areas if you go during Christmas. It's right at Radio City. They've got the Christmas balls here, and then, of course, you can see the lights and all the trees. They had some candy canes with water kind of shooting up in front of them. At this point in the day, we were winding down. Our day was coming to an end. Everybody was pretty well killed. And pretty much ready to just, head on back to the hotel to get in bed and prepare for another long day of walking. But this was something, you'd have to see it if you're there. It's just one of those things. It's kind of a staple, I guess, for Christmas in New York. So we went here and we just kind of walked around. Of course, you can see I was using my 360 camera to get above the crowds. More of these trees. I love how many lights are in the trees that they do there with all the branches. And they've got a little Christmas market there. It's not near as big as the one at Bryant Park. I kind of feel like the Christmas markets all are very similar with the items that they're selling. Of course, there's, different food and like hot cocoa stands and stuff like that at the different ones. But as far as the merchandise, I feel like they're all kind of the same or very similar. On our way back to the hotel, we went through Rockefeller Plaza to see the tree. Of course, people everywhere. But I will say, if you go inside and go down in Rockefeller Plaza, I guess is the corridors where all the restaurants and shops are, you do get a pretty good view of the tree, and you're not, standing elbow to elbow with people. So I would highly recommend that, just as a little tip to see the tree a little better. And then this place here, this hotel, anytime we go during Christmas, I just love going here. The move, they've got this big, beautiful tree out in the front, the architecture of the building. And then, of course, you can go in the lobby for free. They've got trees everywhere. Then they've got a gingerbread house of the entire hotel. So detailed, so beautiful. So that's definitely something that I would recommend checking out if you go. It's a great spot to get some pictures on the staircase. They've got garland on all the railing, multiple trees. It's just overall, it's just a gorgeous place. Another must for me when going to New York is to go to St. Patrick's Cathedral. At Christmas time, the place is gorgeous anytime, but at Christmas, the nativity scene that they do is just absolutely gorgeous. Poinsettias everywhere. It was just, there's just something about it. The stained glass is absolutely breathtaking. So we went in there. Of course, that gives you a break from the weather, if it, is drizzling the rain or cold or windy, and walk around, just take everything in. But as you can see here, that to me is just absolutely beautiful. The architecture in the building, the lighting, the ceilings, everything is just breathtaking. So on this morning, we headed up Fifth Avenue just to check out some of the buildings. Of course, the Christmas windows for the stores. I got a few pictures of some of the buildings here, and then we went to Bergdorf to look at the windows. The detail that goes into the windows is just, it just blows my mind, really. The talent to create all these windows. It's something, it's free. You got to do it. Just check them out. And we were heading to Central Park. We were supposed to do a carriage ride, but there was heavy rain throughout the night, and there was some flooding in Central Park. So we actually got a phone call while we were looking at the windows that our carriage rides were canceled because of the flooding. So we went ahead because we had the day planned out. So we went ahead, worked our way up to Central Park. And what we did instead is we were able to just do the little pedicabs where they use the little e-bikes to take you around the park. So we did that. It was like a 45-minute ride. So I got some footage of it. It was a really cute experience. Some of them were decorated. Ours didn't have any decorations, but the other two that were in our group, theirs were decorated. The one guy was playing some Christmas music, and luckily the rain had stopped. It wasn't really all that cold until we started moving a little more swiftly around through there, but the rain had stopped. But you'll see there was some little flooding areas, so I totally understand why they had to cancel the carriage rides. The real bummer is after we finished the pedicab ride, we had brunch reservations at the Carnegie Diner. So we went there to eat, and when we come back out and we were heading up to Columbus Circle just to kind of look around, I guess the water had finally drained in the park, and they had started the carriage rides back up. And that was something that several people in the group really wanted to do. I had never done it either, so I was kind of looking forward to it. But when they canceled it, the guy said with the company that they weren't rescheduling, I guess because they weren't sure when it would be reopened, when they would allow them, to start operating again. So they were just doing cancellations. So I guess at that point, when they did reopen, that was just people that walked up and paid for the carriage ride, which sometimes those lines can get a little long. That's why, I was trying to be proactive, schedule it in advance, but kind of backfired on me. But the pedicabs, I will say, it is pretty fun. It's a little cramped for 3 people, more so fitted for 2 people, just so you know. The footage here, this is from Hudson Yards. This place is one of my favorite places to go during Christmas. I've read that they say they have like 1 million lights throughout the whole, it's a big shopping center, but they have lights everywhere. And they've got in like the main area, they've got like hot air balloons with lights hanging, as you can see here. It is just truly magical to take in. It's also a great place, even if you don't want to shop. Some of it's higher end shops, but there's places to grab some food, drinks. Plus, it's a place to just chill for a little bit, get in out of the weather, and walk around and just take in the lights, not to mention public restrooms, because those are hard to find sometimes, it seems like. And then right outside of it is the vessel. We didn't pay to walk up in it. I think they were doing it that night, but it honestly, it was so windy when we went to leave this place. Like it was almost like to the point of blowing you over. But outside of it, you can see there's just trees everywhere, lights everywhere. And I love lights. To me, I just love Christmas lights, any kind of outdoor lighting. So this place is just right up my alley. Plus, like I said, it's something free to do. In this video here, you can kind of see the wind, how crazy it was, and these trees here were just swaying. I think it was just maybe that one avenue, I guess the way the wind just traveled down through there, because once we got over on the next street, it let up, but it was pretty fierce going through there. This footage here is from Diker Heights. This is an absolute must-see if you go to New York. It's over in Brooklyn. It is a bit of a trek to get over there. We stayed in Lower Manhattan, like I said, right across from the One World Trade Center. For us to get to Diker Heights, I want to say it was like a 35-minute subway ride and then about a 10 to 12-minute walk. But once you get into the streets, the neighborhood here, is so magical to see all these people going so all out for Christmas. And this is just a fraction of the homes. I think it's 84th Street. It's known as like the crown jewel of Diker Heights. It's the most clustered together homes that are decorated and went all out. But several streets over, the whole area. I mean, you'll, just find a random house that is just completely decked out. And then, you may go a little while and not see a house. But like on 84th Street, they all kind of participate in decorating. They've got there was a lady selling churros. They had pretzels, Cinnabons, hot cocoa, drinks. So if you go, there's snacks there, drinks. And if you're walking from the subway station that we got off at to actual Docker Heights, you're walking down like a main street. So there's restaurants and there's all kinds of places you can go in, and stop, grab a snack or get a drink or take a break. I will say, though, they do seem to close pretty early. So as we were walking back, we actually had intended to stop and grab dinner at one of the places, and it was probably, I'm going to say, pushing 9 o'clock or so, and a lot of the places were already closed. So I'm not really sure. I believe this was on a Friday night. So I don't know what time they normally close, but it seemed like that a lot of the places closed pretty early. But this place it's just a must-see. They do offer, I think you can get like tour buses to take you over. I don't know what they cost per person. We had 8 of us going, so, it would have been pretty pricey. So we just, like I said, took the subway. It's like 35 minutes straight shot. And then it was an easy walk to get there. And then you can just take your time. It does get pretty congested, especially in the areas where a lot of the houses go all out. But it's well worth it. So after we walked around Docker Heights, we headed back to the hotel, and this was our last night. So a few of us decided to walk down to the seaport just to check it out, and we got this gorgeous view of the Brooklyn Bridge from down there. And then we walked over to look at the tree at the seaport, another massive tree. It didn't have decorations on it, but tons of lights. And then we figured while we were out, we would just go to Washington Square to see that tree as well, before we headed back to the hotel to start packing up to head home on the train the next morning. And here we are on the train heading back home. We did have a beautiful sunset view on the ride home. Everything went smooth. The train wasn't delayed. And of course, we were all exhausted, so we slept good. And just had an overall great experience. I'm so glad we were all able to get together and go on this trip and share this moment with each other.